toy race car, something from the store, a little electronic race car. Would you take that car, and you didn't use this exact example, but I took what you said and sort of thought about this. Would you take that car back to the store to customer service and return it if you never plugged it in to see if it works? And you sort of helped me view chiropractic as, okay, your nervous system is what controls your different body parts. If those signals, those messages aren't getting from the brain down the spine to the part, then did you really ever give it a chance to see if you could turn it on and get it working instead of just removing or losing that valuable part?
Yeah, you just said it. I mean, that's exactly that's exactly how it works.
All right, I've been listening.
and really, what Janard is saying is exactly what we do. Is we make sure that the connection, that the supply, is getting to the demand. You know, there's a supply and a demand. The demand is really your organs or your cells, even your muscles. All of those things require the power to get to them, whether you're plugging in a vehicle, like a little race car, or even your computer, your television. There has to be the source that has to get there. If you bought a car or a TV and you set it there and you're pressing the remote to put the batteries in the remote, the TV will not turn on. I put the DVD in, it won't show. Well, you never plugged it in. Or maybe there was an issue in some of the wiring, the connection to the television itself. Maybe you didn't plug things in right. When it comes to the human body, it's no different than that. It's supply and demand, just like an electrical current. And the current comes from your brain, and it fires down your spinal cord and out every single one of your nerves to every cell in your body that keeps you alive. And so when we see patients who come in here with, let's say, a problem with an organ, let's say it's your heart, and you've got a heart that's now malfunctioning, also known as high blood pressure, or something along those lines, is the solution to give them a blood pressure medication, or would the first solution really be to see if the wiring is connected? And that's what we do, is we check that first. And then, of course, if that wasn't the problem, then maybe that's the place where medicine is due, or maybe you have to remove the organ. I'm not saying you never have to get to that point. But did you check first the connection? That's really what it's about. It's about going first to the root. It's like the example that I like to talk about is if you were at home, Janard, this afternoon, and you're watching let's say a program on TV. You've got your ceiling fan on, keeping you cool. You've got some lights on around the room, some light music in the background. Even your computer screen. Then all of a sudden, everything stops. Where do you go? What do you go check?
The electric company.
Yeah, the electric company. So he goes right to the main source. I would go maybe
fuse box.
Fuse box. Yeah, you go to the fuse box to see what happened. Did you overload it? You got too much technology on? Was somebody using the microwave or a hair dryer or something like that, right? And it shot things out. You overrode the system. But here's the thing: you wouldn't take your TV and throw it out and get a new computer, a new ceiling fan. You'd go to the fuse box first, right? When we go and we check the box first. That's the spine. Before you go to all the appliances, also known as your body and your organs, you get to the root. You go to the cause first. Open up those channels, and hopefully that will be the solution, because most often it is.
Definitely. That's it. I mean, because I'm one that I'll quickly share my testimony, if you will, Dr.
Yeah,
Lee.
absolutely.
I grew up and rarely had problems with sickness and health. I went to high school. I carried a huge book bag, Dr. Pete. I didn't feel like they gave us near enough time to get to class, with as crowded as it was at my high school at that time, Riverdale. And so I would take all of my books. I wouldn't use a locker. I would keep all my books in that one bag. So I wouldn't ever forget anything. If I had homework, I would carry that bag to every class. It was like a big duffel bag that a human could fit in. And after that, I started to see maybe that may have affected me in my posture and ultimately my spine and things. And then on top of that, in order to continue to go to school, we were made to take immunization shots for measles, mumps, and rubella, which I didn't want to by choice, because I'm like, you know what, I'm fine. But ever since then, it's like things started going sort of downhill as far as throat problems, sinus problems, all that stuff. So I started to, and my mama sort of helped me in this journey, but I started to seek out what I could do in the natural. You know, I learned some things about supplements. I learned some things about pure herbs. I was diagnosed with nasal rhinitis, inflammation of the nasal tissues. And I did my best to treat that naturally. But coming here, you know, Dr. P, I'm seeing that a lot of the herbal things and all that I used to have to take to combat a lot of the natural things that were going on, the problems with my sinus. Well, when you looked at my x-ray, you had said, well, you know, some of the nerves that control your sinuses they're pinched, I believe you said. So it was just like, duh, oh, okay. And after the first adjustment I had, I told you, told my friend Spike, it's like, who told me about this, want to play shout out, and I experienced a new clarity up here. And somebody else wants to know about that clarity. We can add it. But I say all that to say, I was iffy about coming to a chiropractor. But there was still that curiosity. I think I told you, I did a TV show with a chiropractor before, and he offered to do an adjustment for me on the show. I was like, what you said I agree with completely, but yeah, we just having a full 30 minutes of talking. But I finally, as seeds were planted, that's how I got here. And I just, before I go on with my story, y'all know a lot about me, so we're gonna focus back on Dr. Pete and what you do. Now, I hear you also work with the Olympics, the USA team for wrestling as well as judo.
Correct.
So just to put in layman's terms, how did you get that gig?
That's an awesome question, and I'll say this. You know, I have the blessing of being part of a network, a group of chiropractors nationally, who are just amazing people, and we work with a group actually called Maximize Living. And so what we've done is really we kind of approached the United States team, and we said, hey, are your needs being met, on the health level? And they said, what do you mean? And we started just explaining what we do, just kind of a lot of things like you've been learning here from the standpoint of nutrition, chiropractic care, exercise management, just really understanding the whole body. And they said, we don't feel that they're being met. And they had several meetings, the governing body, and what they did was they actually said, we want you and your chiropractors to be the wellness advisory board for our whole wrestling nationally. And so what we've done is I was actually asked to be one of the chiropractors on the actual board. So I'm part of the wellness committee for USA Wrestling and now Judo, and there's going to be more teams to follow. So we're going to be actually going out and doing a lot of for example, the Olympic Games in London in 2012.
Wow.
We'll be doing a lot of local events, national events, international championships, working with local teams. So one of the things that I need to do is I need to find coaches and teams and athletes here in our own county to start working with them, because what USA Wrestling has asked us to do, and also Judo, is start working locally in our towns and in the areas and regions we're in with all the athletes. And so that's kind of where we're at, but we're going to be working with the Olympic team and just working on the athletes and just keeping them healthy, which is awesome. I'm really excited about it, and really it's meeting a need they had, which in the end which is awesome. So we're helping them and our athletes for the United States win more medals, stay healthy longer. Because here's what happens when they finish their careers: a lot of them have a lot of health problems. So our goal is really to help them prevent health problems during their competition days, but then long term when they go on with the rest of their life, that they're not just just walking around and or maybe riding around or So the goal would be to keep them healthy for a long time.
That's good. That's one thing I can definitely say, coming from just what I've seen in life. We can definitely do a better job taking care of our athletes. Talking about high school, college, whatever, because they're out there putting their bodies on the line, and they need to be taken care of. That's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.